Tune into Sports 360 with Ahmed Hamad.
South Africa won the second cricket test on the third day, beating Zimbabwe by an innings and 236 runs, and also clinching the two-match series 2-0. Some records, and the record is 367 by South African captain Wiaan Mulder, is the highest individual score in Test for South Africa, surpassing Hashim Amla's 311. And Wiaan Mulder has broken the record for the most runs in boundaries, which is 220 in an innings in Test for South Africa, going past Shaun Pollock's 172 runs. Dominant South Africa wrap up 2-0 sweep inside 3 days. South Africa needed a little over 2 sessions to bundle Zimbabwe out and win by innings. Earlier, Zimbabwe, after being forced to follow on, were 51 for 1 in their second innings at close of second day's play, and resuming at the overnight score of 51, they were bundled out for 220 in 77.3 overs. They lost their first wicket of the day, which is second of their inning, and Kaitano was the second man to go when they reached 64 in the 24th over, and Kaitano made 40 of 76 ball, hitting 5 fours. He was caught by Brevis off the bowling of Muthusamy, while the third wicket fell at 103. Sean Williams, third man to go in the 29th over, and he made just 11 of 10 balls, and he was clean bowled by Wiaan Mulder. The fourth wicket fell at 153. 50 runs partnership for the fourth wicket between Craig Ervine and Nick Welch. Craig Ervine 29 and Nick Welch contributed 19 in that partnership. But as their total reached 153, they lost their fourth wicket, and that is of Nick Welch, who made 55 of 126 balls, hitting 3 fours and 2 sixes. But he was caught by Mulder off the bowling of Muthusamy. The fifth wicket fell at 166, was the fifth man to go, leg before by Codi Yusuf, and he made just 5 runs. The sixth wicket, 11 runs later, Takudzwanashe was the sixth man to go, and he made just 1 run, caught by Senuran off the bowling of Codi Yusuf, while the seventh wicket fell at 182, and Craig Ervine was the seventh man to go, scoring 49 of 95 balls, hitting 6 fours, and he was caught by Kyle Verina off the bowling of Corbin Bosch. The eighth wicket, back-to-back 2 wickets, and the eighth man to go was Kundai Matigumu, who was out without scoring, and he was clean bowled by Corbin Bosch. The ninth wicket at 184, Blazing Muzarabani departs without scoring, faced 11 deliveries but was out without scoring, caught by Senuran off the bowling of Corbin Bosch, while the 10th and final wicket fell at 220. Tanaka Chivanga was the last man to go in the 78th over, and Tanaka Chivanga made 22 of 26 balls, hitting 3 fours and 1 6. The 10th wicket partnership, yes, they had some partnership, but the 10th wicket put on 36 of 52 balls. Wellington Masakadza 13 and Chivanga made 22 in that partnership, but they were all out for 220, thus losing the match by an innings and 236 runs. For South Africa, Codi Yusuf 17 overs 3 made in 38 runs and 2 wicket. Corbin Bosch 19 overs 8 made in 38 runs and 4 wicket. Wiaan Mulder 8 over 1 made in 24 runs and 1 wicket. Parallel Sobren 14 overs 3 made in 36 runs and no wicket, and Senuran Muthusamy 19.3 overs 1 made in 77 runs and 3 wickets. So the summary of the match: South Africa scoring 626 for 5 declared in their first inning, and Zimbabwe were all out for 170 in their first inning, thus forced to follow on, and after follow on they made 220 in their second inning, thus losing the match by an innings and 236 runs. Wiaan Mulder of South Africa, who scored an unbeaten 367 and captured 2 for 20 in the first inning and 1 for 24 in the second inning, was declared player of the match and player of the series, as he scored 531 runs in the series and also capturing 7 wickets. A complete mismatch of test in Bulawayo ended within 2 sessions on third day, as Wiaan Mulder alone scored only 23 runs lesser than what Zimbabwe's entire lineup managed across 2 innings. But even that happened when at 9 wickets down after being asked to follow on an outside edge of Wellington Masakadza dribbled away for 4 wide off the slips. The 10th-wicket stand between Masakadza and Chivanga frustrated South Africa for nearly 9 overs but couldn't prevent an innings defeat. South Africa comprehensively won by an innings and 236 runs to wrap up the series 2-0 after confining Zimbabwe to their heaviest defeat by runs in the first test of the series. It was South Africa's 10th Test win on the trot, including their victory over Australia in the World Test Championship 2025 final last month. Zimbabwe started day 3 of the Bulawayo Test trailing by a massive 405 runs with 9 wickets in hand, while an innings defeat was inevitable given the deficit and the time remaining in the test. A middle and lower order collapse of 6 for 31 after lunch hastened the eventual result. But before that, overnight batsmen Kaitano and Welch negotiated the 7 overs from Codi, Yusuf and Corbin Bosch to start play by mostly blocking and leaving the delivery. The first over of spin, though, got South Africa's breakthrough. Off his second ball, Senuran Muthusamy had Kaitano chipping to cover for 40 in the 24th over. Welch, at the other end, struggled to take along. His first 45 balls fetched him only 14 runs, and one of his 2 boundaries came earlier in the day when he outside edged Yusuf between third slip and gully. In the 26th over, however, Welch swung Muthusamy for a huge down the ground. Next ball, he went for Hoik across the line, and the ball missed both the bat and the leg stump. But that didn't prevent Welch from keeping his counter-attack going. He punched Mulder wide of gully for 4, had a difficult chance dropped by David Bedingham at backward point of Muthusamy, was beaten and nearly stumped next ball, and repeated his massive hit for 6 of Muthusamy. All these in the space of facing 9 balls. It was Mulder's test though. Had come the 29th over, his heel just within permissible limits as he cleaned Sean Williams up for 11. Welch slowed down after that wicket, looking content to push off singles and bat time. He raised his 50 just before lunch when he flicked Peregrine Sobran for 2 to fine leg. Before both Welch and Craig Ervine went unbeaten at the interval. At the time, Zimbabwe were still another 131 runs behind South Africa. However, Welch and Ervine didn't last long. Muthusamy got a leading edge from Welch, who was caught by Mulder at slip for 55 in the 3rd over after lunch. That began the slide as 153 for 3 soon turned out to 184 for 9. Yusuf got the wickets when he trapped Wesley Medware in front for 5 in the 53rd over. Ervine and Takudzwanashe strung together plenty of dots as the scoring stalled, before Yusuf and Siska chipping to short mid-wicket to end his stay on 1 of 20 ball. At 6 down, Masakadza joined Ervine and kept South Africa waiting more. Masakadza edged one just short of second slip of his first ball and had a tight stumping decision go his way. It was Bosch who ended the 5-run union in almost 6 overs when he had Ervine edging behind for 49 to start the 65 over. 3 balls later, Bosch bowled Kandu Matigamu for a duck to bag his 3rd wicket. In the 69th, Bosch had Blazing Muzarabani edged to 3rd slip without scoring, with Zimbabwe trailing by 272. It was a matter of time before South Africa wrapped up the victory. But while last man Tanaka Chivanga had some fun, Masakadza too hung around to annoy South Africa. Chivanga scored 22 of 26 balls with 3 boundaries and a 6, but was the last man to fall when Muthusamy had him top edge to slip. Fittingly, it was Mulder who took the winning catch, having stood in as captain for this test and being named player of the match for his marathon 367 not out and player of the series for scoring 531 runs overall and bagging 7 wickets.
Keep on watching Sports 360 with Ahmed Hamad for latest news, views, and interviews of sports personalities from around the world.